Baylor Scheierman does it again. Kristaps Porzingis has another big game, and I'm talking about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Jrue KP, tap in daily. Primetime dapping D White on the sideline. Raining Jayson, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And I got you covered every Monday through Friday with a free podcast that drops directly to your device if you are a subscriber. So make sure you are subscribed. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking about the Boston Celtics, their win over the Brooklyn Nets, and this great performance by Baylor Scheierman. I'm John Karalis. I've been covering the Celtics for about 20 years. Now I'm doing it as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal, and I'm doing it here at TD Garden way up high because they're turning the arena over for some kind of concert on Wednesday or Thursday or whenever it is going to be. But so I'm here upstairs. So if you hear some construction noises and stuff like that, that's because that's what they're doing over there. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Go ahead and download that Prize Picks app. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. You get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Celtics get the win over the Brooklyn Nets, 104-96. And later on, I'll get to some of the other individual performances. Kristaps Porzingis in a few minutes. But let me start with Baylor Scheierman, who had the big game. He's the story of the game. Baylor had 20 points, perfect 4 of 4 shooting in the fourth quarter, scored 12 points in the fourth quarter, gets a career-high 20 points, 6 of 7 shooting off the bench. He came into this game shooting 5 of 25 from 3 on the season. He shot 6 of 7 from 3 in this game alone. Starting with, I think, the real shot was end of the third quarter. The buzzer beater that he hit, that was, first of all, he hits a buzzer beater. There's a foul. He takes the shot. It banks in. Doesn't count, obviously. So they inbound the ball. Baylor has the ball. He's inbounding the ball. And what ends up happening is he gets the ball to Porzingis. Porzingis, taps it back to him, and he hits the three-pointer, this big, great moment. But he said after that wasn't the plan. That wasn't the play. He was trying to get it to Derrick White. If you watch the play again, Derrick White is streaking up the baseline. Porzingis is kind of in the way. He jumps in the way, and he essentially steals the ball and gets it back to Scheierman. Scheierman said, I wasn't expecting that. I had to try to get my feet in bounds and my balance so I could shoot that shot. He shoots it. He nails it. Crowd goes nuts. And all of a sudden, he's just super confident. He comes into that fourth quarter, like I said, 4 of 4 from 3. He hits 3 threes in the span of a couple minutes to, I think it was part of a 11-2 run. So the Celtics were down 2, they went up 7. So it was a 9-point swing. And, he has a heat check in there where it bounces front rim. And so much of this can be just luck, right? Scheierman, the rookie, he wasn't supposed to take that buzzer-beating shot. That was supposed to go to Derrick White. Porzingis does whatever he does. He freelances, and Scheierman takes the shot, makes the shot. The bouncing heat check that went in, if he shoots that from any other angle, that misses and goes long. But because of that angle that he shot it, and it just happened to bounce and back up off the backboard and in, it just pure luck, right? He didn't shoot. It wasn't exactly a swish, but right angle, right touch, and it becomes a shooter's roll. And it's an incredible story for him. And one of the things that people are talking about is, Hey, did Brad Stevens get a hit here on the 30th overall pick? One pick away from the second round. Now he's got the guaranteed contract and all that. Maybe if he doesn't have the guaranteed contract, the Celtics, got rid of Anton Watson to change up how they're configuring their two-way contracts. Maybe Scheierman was the guy that would have been gone. Who knows? But he's got the guaranteed deal. He's here. He gets these minutes. No Jayson Tatum, no Jaylen Brown in this game, and makes the most of this opportunity. A couple of weeks ago, it was against Philly. He had a career high 15. Now he gets another opportunity, a career high 20. You just make the most of what you have. And Scheierman has not only that, he makes hustle plays, rebounds, played some decent defense, diving on the floor, sprinting back to break up plays. He does a lot of this hard work stuff. He's not just out there being a shooter. He's out there working, playing hard, and earning his time, earning his minutes. So I thought Scheierman obviously was the story of the game, considering all the questions that were asked of Joe Mazzulla, Kristaps Porzingis. Baylor Scheierman got a podium. I think everyone agrees that Scheierman stepping up with the two J's out is the big story of the game, and it doesn't happen unless those two guys sit. I've said this yesterday when I said it multiple times. Sit Jaylen, sit Jayson, sit Jaylen, sit Jayson. Wow. I swear I'm at work. I have not had anything to drink. I can't get those words out. But if you sit them in this game, that gives them 5 days off. Jaylen was ruled out already, and then Jayson was here. He got ruled out before the game. I was like, wow, the Celtics are actually doing the right thing. Jayson actually acquiesced. And I know a lot of people like to say, like, oh, man, people pay to come here and see Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. And I even said this yesterday. I'm not trying to disrespect people who come here and are paying to see the stars. But if they played, you don't get this game. And the whole point of that is you don't know what game you're going to get. So I know people like to get pre-angry, pre-pissed off, but what you don't know is if they sit, who makes the most of this opportunity? I don't know what Jaylen would have done if he played in this game. I don't know what Jayson would have done. They could have come out there and play, half-assed their way through this and stunk, and it could have looked like the second half against Brooklyn, where Jayson was kind of like, right? Maybe he would have dropped 50. I don't know. But a lot of people in this building left really, really happy. 19,000 people went home from this game going, wow, what a game by Scheierman. They were at his career high. They were at the game where he hit 4-4 in that fourth quarter and hit that crazy buzzer beater and hit that crazy heat check. Those are memories that are special. It's obviously special to Baylor, but this is a special night. People get to go home and have like a lot of fun. They get to talk about this. This is, if you saw Tatum drop 30 or Jaylen drop 30, would have been a special night too. But this is something when you're at work, around the water cooler, like that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that you're talking about. Like, can you believe this game from Baylor Scheierman? Wow, man. Brad Stevens, he might have hit on this guy. They might have this guy for the future, and who knows what that means for this team. And this is a guy who's going to be super cheap and could help the Celtics maybe keep somebody else because he's contributing on a cheap rookie contract. All of that stuff is part of the discussion now. And it happened because the Jays took the night off. And I'm not so stupid to think like every time guys sit, something else special happens, but there's an opportunity there. And Scheierman stepped up. So I'm happy that he stepped up. I'm happy the fans got to see this, that he, put on a show and people get to leave here happy. It's not the only thing that happened. Kristaps Porzingis had a good night, and the Nets didn't, like they did in that first game. Talk about all of that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You know, you want to download that Prize Picks app because right now, with basketball heating up, it's the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you just pick more or less on at least 2-player projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use, available in over 30 states, and it lets you mix and match projections across different sports. So you can build a lineup based on whomever is out there. I mean, you could have picked, I don't know if Baylor Scheierman was even on the board. You could have picked Derrick White, more or less than whatever that point projection is. He had 18. What was the projection? Was it 17? Then you would have picked more and you would have won. It's very simple. You can make these picks in less than 60 seconds to set your lineup. You can stay engaged all game long. When you win, money hits your account in as little as 15 minutes, so there's no waiting around. And every Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25%, giving you even more value to your lineup. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 off $50 instantly. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Locked On NBA, code Locked On NBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Today's show is also brought to you by Hungry Roots. Grocery shopping, meal planning, it's a pain. It's an ongoing problem for just about everybody. You don't have the time, right? Work, life, trying to eat healthy, it all takes up a lot of time. And when you're going to the grocery store, you're stressed out, you buy things you don't need, which ends up being expensive, and you end up with no time to actually cook. So sticking to your health goals is a struggle. But that changes when you sign up for Hungry Root. It's a game changer, the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. With Hungry Root, it's like having a personal shopper and a nutritionist all in one. They take care of the grocery shopping, recommending meals, groceries based on your taste, your health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high protein, gluten-free options. And the best part is every meal is ready in 15 minutes or less. Quick, healthy meals that actually taste great, all delivered straight to your door. It's a huge time saver, and it makes healthy eating so much simpler. You're going to love Hungry Root. Go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. For a limited time, you get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA. Don't miss out. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Please sign up for our new newsletter. It is at lockedondaily.com. You click on that Locked On Celtics logo, sign up, put your email in there, and I will send you an email every Monday through Friday to get you up to date on Celtics, on NBA, on fantasy, and links to great Celtics content around the internet. LockedOnDaily.com. Put your email in there, sign up. Open it up, read it, stay up to date with the podcast, even if you miss a show. So the Celtics, this wasn't exactly like the best game in the world. They came out with Kristaps Porzingis taking advantage of a lot of mismatches. He finished the game with 25 points to lead the Celtics, doing a lot of that damage early on, and late. 9 of 13, 6 of 8 from the free throw line, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocked shots. His 900th block shot of his career, by the way. So Porzingis comes out, takes advantage of the size, the smaller, switching onto smaller guys. It's a little reminder of how the Celtics can attack smaller players and what he's capable of doing, even when the Celtics aren't shooting well, which they didn't, especially early on. I think, what did they finish with overall three-point shooting? And the first half was a little bit tough. They finished overall shooting 33% from three and 44% from the field overall. Porzingis, though, kind of neutralizes that whatever disadvantage there at the 3-point line. The Celtics still hit more than Brooklyn. And I said before the game, I wrote on Boston Sports Journal, just stick with that game plan from that last game. It was still close, closer than you wanted it to be with Brooklyn. But look, Brooklyn they have a bad record. They had a ton of injuries. One of the stories of the year was how Brooklyn was supposed to be tanking, and they were at one point in the play-in tournament. So they're not a bad team, but they're not known for hitting 3-pointers, and they hit a ton of them in that last. They hit 20 of them in that last game, which the Celtics won. I just thought to keep letting them fire away. They took 45 threes. They hit 13. So even though the Celtics had a poor shooting night, they still had 3 more. And Porzingis hitting from hitting those post ups and getting to the line. I mean, those might as well be 3-pointers. You get 6 of 8 from the free throw line. Those count. When you get an and one, that matters. Those free throws matter. You get the team into the bonus, all of that. So Porzingis punishing the matchups in this game, a big part of the Celtics kind of early going. So it's good to see Porzingis 2 games back, feeling good, playing well. And he said after the game, I feel like the schedule is to my advantage. He said, basically, I'm summing it up, with a game, 2 days off, a game, and 2 more days off. This is actually perfect timing for him to get back, recover, play again, recover, and now get into the normal cadence of an every other day schedule, kind of easing his way back into that. Celtics don't play again until Friday night in Utah. So that's a great opportunity. He only played 29 minutes in this game. 29 minutes. So he played 32 in the last game. This is just, stretch him out a little bit in Utah. Just get him out there running. Get him to like 32, 33 maybe. And then the next game, you dial it back down to like 25. And start to stretch him out a little bit as you get through the rest of this regular season. 13 more games. It might end up working out pretty well. Actually, consider all things considered with Porzingis, he's not going to play a whole season. Considering the timing of this, I don't know. He could get hurt again next week. I don't know. But if he is at his best in May and June, if he has that 14-game stretch to end the playoffs, that is him at his absolute max, then all of this was worth it. And the timing of this injury and not the illness and the recovery ends up being worth it. So the timing, I thought, it could end up, he's the one that brought it up. The timing could be working out well for him. I did think on the downside, the Celtics turned the ball over a little too much. Only 13 turnovers, which is not a ton. It's actually that would be, anywhere like 11, 12, 13 is fine. But the types of turnovers were awful. So the number doesn't necessarily concern me, but some of the passes that the Celtics were throwing were some of the worst passes I've ever seen. And okay, Porzingis trying to throw a touchdown pass to Derrick White, but not even coming close. That's not great. Entry passes that for some reason the Celtics just absolutely cannot make. Okay, like that. I think this was a case of I don't think the Celtics were playing their absolute hardest through a long stretch of this game. They came out well. They came out strong. They were missing shots. And then I think the missed shots got to them. And in the second quarter, they played sloppy. They lost their attention to detail. The third quarter, And then, Derrick White, even though he didn't shoot well, 13 points in the third quarter. I'll talk about him in a second. And then it was Baylor Scheierman Scheierman's the guy that changed the entire energy, that changed how everything went, and lit this building on fire, basically. But don't think the energy was great for the Celtics. I do think they got discouraged by the misses. And I don't think they were exactly up to play Brooklyn, but it all works out in the end. Let's talk about individual performances. Honestly, it's funny. I was having a conversation with somebody in the back, and I was told, I'm glad I don't have to do a podcast after this 5 days a week. And I'm like, hey, you got to figure something out, right? This is not, if it wasn't for Scheierman, this would not be a memorable game. But there were some other individual performances that I want to get to. We'll talk about that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Robinhood and Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national average, the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Really do appreciate that. Let's get back to some of these individual performances. Derrick White. I thought Derrick White played well. He did have, like I said, that 13-point fourth quarter, but he did not shoot particularly great. Very bad shooting night. 6 of 19, that's less than 32%. 3 of 11 from 3, 27.3%. Although, you hit one more, and that number looks a lot better. But 18 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, a block. I thought Derrick White's I thought Derrick White took good shots. I thought the process was great. I thought he's, I was not. It's hard for me to be upset at Derrick White's game. Every time I watch him play, I think he's always playing the right way. I think he's trying to do the right things. Maybe a couple of times he got a little frustrated. When you see him out there shaking his head, it's like 2 different gestures that let you know that Derrick White's playing well or not well. The shaking his head, which he did a bunch, that's like, oh, bad shooting night, Derrick. When he's doing that jump skip in the air after a shot, that's, I'm feeling it, Derrick White. So he was doing the head shaking thing for a while, not getting calls that he thought he should be getting called for foul. I think he just had a frustration with the ref. I think the Celtics had a lot of frustrations with the officiating in this game. There were a lot of conversations with the refs there. Derrick had him, I think. Al Horford had a couple. There was one bad call at the end, at the very, very end, when Brooklyn, listen, I appreciate you trying hard, Brooklyn. I appreciate you playing to the final whistle, the final buzzer. The game was over, and but the Nets kept going, and I think D'Angelo Russell kind of just fell, I didn't watch the play again. He either fell or flopped, but it wasn't a foul on Al Horford. But the Celtics didn't have a challenge, and it was before the ball was inbounded, so they got a free throw out of it. Whatever. But Al had a conversation. A bunch of coaches, a bunch of players had conversations with the refs. They were not thrilled with how the game was being called. But D. White, I still think played well despite the lack of shooting. Let's just run down from the top. Sam Hauser was was okay. 8 points, 2 of 7 from 3. Again, hit one more shot and the percentage looks great, but 7 rebounds for him. Fine. Derrick White, Jrue Holiday. Let me start over here. Al Horford also had a bad shooting night. 1 of 5 from 3, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. But he was a team best plus 18. A typical Al Horford game. Nothing special. Typical Al Horford game. Typical Jrue Holiday game. Although Jrue missed a layup or two. It was funny. Somebody commented on Boston Sports Journal, but Jrue passed out of a wide open layup early in the game, just right down the middle, was at the rim, and he passed it to the corner. It was so egregious that the crowd in the arena moaned. They're like, "Oh, like, what are you doing? Take that layup." Now the pass was to the corner for Sam Hauser, and Hauser hit that shot. So that ended up working out. Sam needed to hit that shot because if he didn't, people are going to get really upset. I say typical Jrue Holiday game. Like, Jrue has some of these games where his offensive choices are kind of like interesting. He shot 5 of 14. He was 0 of 5. Up and down kind of, shooting performances for him. He'll probably go 5 for 6 in the next game against Utah. But interesting with the layups. But then he biffed the layup later in the game, and people were like, "Yeah, I see why he passed out of the layups before." But 8 assists, 6 rebounds for him. No one had a great night except for Baylor Scheierman and Kristaps Porzingis. Those are the only 2 guys who had great nights. Peyton Pritchard was okay. He shot 3 of 7 from 3. He had a couple of big ones. Torrey Craig, my 2 complaints are Torrey Craig, 8 minutes. I want to see him get more than 8 minutes. Like, can we play Torrey Craig 20 minutes just to see if he can figure some of this stuff out? Maybe they just don't plan on playing him 20 minutes ever. But no, you don't plan on playing him 20 minutes. But how about just getting him some run to see if he can mesh, see if he can figure some of this stuff out with the Celtics? I would love to see it. But only 8 minutes, and kind of a nothing game for him. And then the Neemias Queta, who I know someone in the comments said if he feels like I have a bias against Queta. I don't. I have nothing against Neemias Queta, but he was terrible in this game. He's once again terrible. I think his problem is I don't think he has a strong base. I don't think he has this like great athleticism where he can kind of move laterally and stay in front of guards, but he's not good at changing direction like in straight lines. He can like shift and kind of stay in front, although he got torched a couple of times. But at his best, he can be effective sliding and shifting his feet. But if you ask him to go from like baseline to free throw line back to baseline, he's very slow in that type of movement. He doesn't have a strong base that allows him to gather and jump quickly. That's why he doesn't dunk a lot. He has to have a big gather to dunk most of the time. He's laying it in a lot, even at his size. He's a big dude. But I just thought, he only played 8 minutes, and -5 in 8 minutes is very indicative of his game. So, look, Queta could probably you don't know which one of these games on the road he'll have a big game, but I'm telling you, he's going to have a big game on the road somewhere. And right now he's in a bad stretch, but that's with Queta, that's what you're going to get. He is still like your 10th man, 11th man, right? If we're being honest, what do you expect out of a 10th man? Up and down performances. So Celtics get the win. I'm not much else to say about this win over Brooklyn. They get the win, 50 wins. That's a nice magic number. People like 50 wins. Porzingis after the game was like, how many games do we have left? 13? Maybe we can win 13 in a row and get to 63. That would be a nice number. But 50 wins is a good number. The Celtics this is the 37th season the Celtics have gotten to 50 wins. So 50-win teams are good teams, and the Celtics are a good team. We'll see how it goes moving forward, but I will be here Monday through Friday, so a couple more days of podcast, plus bonus podcast Friday night after they play Utah, so I'll give you a quick podcast after that. Make sure you're subscribed. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking there. Share your thoughts, and then share the podcast. Tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.